Okay, so this is going to be something kind of quick and kind of simple, but I don't know, I was just somewhat inspired to make a quick video about this, because I've actually now tried a Monster Hunter Stories game for the very first time. If you don't watch us while we do live content, which is perfectly fine, not for everybody, I started streaming Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin last night for the first time. Hadn't touched the first one, hadn't touched the second one, was looking forward to the third one, but figured I'd want to hop on this chunk of the franchise before 3 came out, just so I kind of knew what I was getting into, and just to see if I really liked it or not. So I went ahead and I bought the collection for the Switch, streamed for a couple hours last night, and one thing, excuse me, that I mentioned live a couple of times, and maybe in a couple of comment sections, is that at a kind of cursory overview level, the gameplay of these games didn't really grab me. My initial kind of like cursory look at the Stories games was, I'm not really that impressed by what I'm seeing with the rock, paper, scissors gameplay, and just, you know, how engaging can this game actually be, right? But I was always honest about the fact that, you know, I never actually tried it, so I can't say anything about it, right? So, like, what the hell? We should actually give this game a shot, see what it's about, see if I like it, see if there is anything beyond just, like, the rock, paper, scissors gameplay that I'm seeing at an initial level, and why do people seem to really like this? Because every time I listen to someone, or I see any kind of just peripheral discussion, people who like the Stories games really like the Stories games. You know what? I see a rare den over there. We're gonna... let's head in that direction. We can do that while we talk. Let's get there a little bit faster. If you notice real quick while I had the screen up, I take a lot of pride in nicknaming my monsters. I knew that was going to be a part of the game that I really, really like, because that's how you get attached to them. Doubt I'm going to have any of these guys for a particularly long time. But I am especially proud of... Limu Emu. This is the most I've ever liked a Kuliyaku in my entire life, is Limu Emu from Liberty Mutual. No one, if you don't watch the live stuff, you're not going to get Feng Zhuan, the Yun Kutku, because that's named after a rooster in my buddy's Planet Zoo game that keeled over dead in front of us. That was funny. And then Draptonoth is an Aptonoth that does dragon damage for some reason. And it's just pork chop, because I didn't have anything super duper clever for the Boldrome. Well, let's see what we got. So I was somewhat impressed with the actual learning curve that exists in this game that I wasn't really expecting there to be. Let's see. He is... I definitely want to do Pride of the Combat a little bit so I can just illustrate what I'm talking about. And if I remember off the dome... yeah, power beats tech, so tech beats speed. Alright, well, let's actually bring out Limu Emu. I'm gonna go right for this guy. So, you do have the rock, paper, scissors aspect with the power, speed, technical. And that's kind of like the initial opening bread and butter. And I thought that was kind of gonna wind up being the bulk of it. But it's really just kind of the initial opening gambit to get the ball rolling a little bit. And then you kind of go from there. I could probably turn I'll turn the game speed down to 2 on this. Right, now the rage mode goes... because one thing Raditz, my buddy who was watching me play this, was telling me is one thing he liked from Stories 1 over Stories 2 is that the patterns at the base level were a little bit more varied This, what it seems to be with this game is it's just a monster has its base attack type and then it just spams that until you make it mad. Like at this point, I think with Velocidrome being enraged, he shifts from speed over to power, so you want to throw speed at him. Yep, so we'll go over to power initially. I've also been, I don't want to progress too far because I just want to, you know, play the game on stream and whatnot. But I woke up this morning, I'm like, dude, I just want to play the game more. So I'm actually probably pretty damn over-leveled and over-geared for at least the next half-decent chunk of the game. Just because I mean, my whole party's at, like, level 9 right now. They're barely getting any XP at all. Which I can talk about. That's a system I kind of enjoy. And then even with the equipment, like, I maxed out the 2 weapons that I got. I upgraded the armor that I got. I found a nice talisman at one point. It's like, I'm good. And I'm basically just curb stomping everything in the game until we progress, is essentially what's going on. And that's the Kulu right there. This isn't a particularly deep den. With the Kulu, you can actually kind of talk about the game systems a little bit, because he actually has mechanics. Velocidrome really just kind of has the rock, paper, scissors stuff to it. And he also dies super duper quick at this point. A little bit of scouting through. This isn't a particularly large den. Yeah, no, it's basically just 2 chambers. Alright, so with the rock, paper, scissors aspect, the sense of discovery was kind of cool. I might just deliberately attack him. Eventually, you are going to learn what the monsters do, and you have to kind of trial and error that. But initially, what you're doing is you kind of have to do like a blind... If you don't know Monster Hunter, which I assume most people who play these games do know Monster Hunter, you're kind of going in with a blind presumptuousness of like what the monster's actually going to do, but you're actually rewarded, I'd say, really well for having insight into how these games work, because it'll go into what damage types you want to throw at it and what part breaks it's going to have and what damage types you want to use against those part breaks, and also, you know, what type of damage the monster is generally going to do. Can I not automatically wake it up? Okay. That's gonna be... I think it's just... You know what? I was gonna mess around with this, but I think they're just giving me like a half-decent Pookie egg kind of right off rip. I mean, I could see... I don't know. Maybe I don't want to look the... Alright, I'll find something else to go fight. I don't think I'm gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just gonna... If I'm getting a half-decent Pookie off rip, I'll just take the half-decent Pookie off rip. Yep. Why not? I'm not going to hatch him, though, yet. Because I want to do almost all the progression on stream. Let's see if there's something... It'd be nice if there is a Kutku or a Pookie or a Kulu on the map. Alright, here we go. Pookie's actually going to fight us. Alrighty. So Pookie's actually got a good chunk of mechanics. He's probably the strongest thing I can, like, actively fight right now. So he's technical, so that means Draptonoth is going to be fine for this. So let's just kind of get the ball rolling. You open that stuff up. So at this point I know piercing damage doesn't really do much against the body. Slashing does. And it's kind of saying, you know, you're going to try to cut the tail so you can get rid of its tail attacks, like the big poison gas cloud. Obviously, you're going to want slashing damage for that, right? Right, okay. So you get that going. That gets the meter going. And this is where your abilities actually kind of start to get interesting. Because you still have the rock, paper, scissors with the colors, obviously. But then you're getting into resource management and monster abilities, player abilities, heartbreaking, that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, it's allowed to just get progressively more and more interesting. Then you have like the individual mechanics on the great sword, so you get like a charge level going on that. Go for that and see if you actually want to bite into the resources that you have for extra abilities. It still has that rock, paper, scissors stuff, but yeah, like then you start to get into the actual resource management and stuff like that. So I'm going to do the body for now. Maybe I'll slow it down to 1. Alright, so he's going to heal himself. Yeah, then you got to lean into what stuff the monsters have, if they're going to switch that stuff around. There's more, like, actually learning how the game works and more actually taking information that you have about the regular Monster Hunter games and applying that than I thought there was going to be. So just playing for a couple of rounds last night for about 5 hours or so, I was like, oh, I'm starting to understand why people like this game a lot, actually. This is making a lot more sense. Alright, so he's going to start powering up. I think off of that, this is going to make the head available to attack. This is also extra damage and extra resource points I can use. It's just really funny to joust a Pookie with an Aptonoth. Apparently Aptonoth's really good in this game. I will say there's some stuff like, you know, the monster I got on my side is just kind of like cycling abilities and just attack types randomly. I'm wondering if you get more of like a control over that later on. So let's kind of toss that back over, go to the hammer. Let's do anything off of that. Now let's save those because he's probably going to poison off of this turn. We definitely want to swap over to the head with this. Alright, so he swaps over into power state when he's angry. So, if he's swapping over into power while he's angry, that means I want to do that. I can skip that animation. I've seen it a whole crap ton of times. Starts getting weaker. Let's see. We'll get up on my buddy. Alright, we'll take him down with this. And this is really just kind of like the first 4 or 5 hours of the game. I'm assuming there's a whole lot of other stuff I'm not even close to really using. Oh, no, Drapnoth is down. Big boy goes down, though. Yeah, no, but this is cool. Just kind of how the dynamics shift around, where, like, his rage state procs means Then he's going to start using different attack types, but it's also going to swap around the different active parts you can target. And the different active parts you can target means that, like, different weapons are going to be viable. And I'm certain when you get to more complex monsters, that just kind of changes around a whole bit. So I'm like, oh, I kind of get it now, right? Like, you have that opening initial thing of, like, yeah, he's going to use this type of damage, so use this type of damage, whatever. But especially when I started to hit Pookie, I'm like, oh, I understand why people like this game. This is kind of cool, actually. I don't even know how much more I really wanted. I just, like, I don't know. Like, I came out, I was streaming this for a couple hours. I was playing it this morning. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I kind of get it now. And I felt, I didn't even really have kind of like a grander point to talk about. I just felt like it would make people who like the stories games a lot, but that didn't watch the streams last night, really happy to see that I was watching this and that I was getting into it. I'm like, I get it now. Like, I was definitely still early on, and there's a whole bunch of stuff I still don't understand. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of you who are watching this thinking, oh, you're not even at, like, this yet. You can't even do that yet. Like, you're just at blah. Like, you don't even have any idea. But, you know, it's from somebody who's like, I'm not really that interested in these games. The combat loop doesn't look that interesting to me. But, oh, hi. I'll definitely try out Stories 3. You know, one part for my job and also for just curiosity, because, like, it doesn't look bad or anything. I'm sure these games aren't bad. I just wasn't super duper interested. But now looking at it, I'm like, oh, never mind. This actually makes a ton of sense. Alright, we're doing... Get this guy in there. He's probably the first one I'm dropping, because he's just, like, the story one. He's not technically... He's not like mine. So I like the trial by error. I like the trial by fire with this. The actual kind of, like, learning what things you have to throw at monsters. Like, they have nothing but question marks on their stat line when you fight them the first time. You gotta learn the elements and the damage types and the attack matchups and stuff like that. And then you build up the resources, and you have to manage that resource and see, like, do I actually want to invest fully in going into the rider mechanic, or do I actually want to do some setup with the skill stuff? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff with bows, with the arrow coatings, and that kind of stuff. And I was having fun just, like, capitalizing off of knockdowns and stuns to increase my potency with, like, bow coatings and stuff like that. So, like, this is... I get it now. There's a baseline with the power technical speed thing, but that is nowhere close to the entire game. It's really just kind of that opening gambit to get the show on the road. And I like that a lot, actually. So my anticipation for Stories 3 has gone from, like, yeah, I'm definitely going to get it, I'm probably going to enjoy it, to, like, ooh, I am legitimately interested what this new game is going to bring to the table. And, like, what the new monsters are going to bring to the table. And I just want to get a whole bunch of them and just mess around with the mechanics and shit and just see what I can make out of it. Because I'm still so early on, and like I was saying, there's probably just a ton of stuff I can't even play around with yet that this game has to offer. I'll get to Stories 1 eventually, I think. I was planning originally on playing both of them, but by the time I was actually able to carve out the time to buy this collection, I knew that if I actually wanted to enjoy either of the Stories games, I could only really pick one, because it's going to take me a bit. But I've been enjoying myself so much and finding myself the day after streaming it for the first time, really just wanting to play more of it, that I think once the gauntlet of the December releases and the anniversary video is in the rearview mirror, there's a good chance I'll stream this multiple times a week, especially depending on how far we are. But I have a lot of stuff that I have to take care of this month before I can really start to worry about that too much. Alright, he's going for technical, so I'm not going to swap him out just yet. The bots is usually really good about clearing out the dregs, so I'm just going for the boss one. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff we're going to be covering. I guess right now is a good enough time to cover some scheduling stuff. So we're going to have the reveal trailer for GOG and some more Stories 3 news on the 11th. So I'm going to be streaming that. I'm going to be cropping that down and turning that into a video. So that'll be on the 11th. Merry Huntmas goes in a full swing on the 12th. That's going to go from the 12th through to the 24th for those 13 days. GOG Mazios is going to be dropping in the midst of that, so that's going to be a stream and 2 videos out of that. There's going to be the trailer for the 3rd anniversary video on the 25th, so that's a lot of videos in a row. There's also going to be the stream for the Game Awards, which is going to be... No, okay. Yeah, I got that twisted. So the Wilds and Stories 3 stuff is on the 8th. That's going to be streamed and clipped. The Game Awards is on the 11th. We're going to stream that. I don't even think there's necessarily going to be Monster Hunter stuff involved. Though the expansion might get announced, maybe. That's not impossible, I suppose. But I'm just going to stream the Game Awards just to stream them, honestly. Oh, we can do a Kulu while I'm still talking, I suppose. Give me a big guy. Oh, no. Gotcha. Yeah, so this month is just going to be kind of gigantic. It's going well, though, so far. Everything's pretty much, like, right on schedule. So I just have to stay on schedule. This is really just kind of like a small diversion stuff. I'm in between. The scripting is pretty close to done for Huntmas. The video progression is going well. Come on, draft enough. Get your fucking head in the game, buddy. There we go. Guarantee to evade. Requires 2 charges. Okay. So I don't know how I even charge. I don't even really know how I charge meter with hammer. I guess I just do attacks. Really? Okay, so he doesn't... Okay, so learning this right now. He doesn't really give that much of a crap about blunt damage when he doesn't have the rock with him. I kind of figured it'd be fine either way, but whatever. I mean, he's not going to last that much longer anyway. It's not that big of a deal. He was going for rock hold immediately. I preemptively have the hammer. Oh, yeah, that was automatic. And then he goes for the knock. Yeah, this is cool. That goes for the crits. We'll just put him down. Was there anything else worth talking about? Yeah, no. Whole bunch of streaming regularly and also streaming just like other game presentations. Oh, he's going off to a nest. I can track him down and see what's going on. I guess while we're kind of just going through things right now towards the end of it, I mean, you don't have to go into, like, specifics, but for stuff having to do with this game, what you're excited for me to check... I say you don't have to go into specifics, but, like, if you've played these games before, or even if you haven't played them like I hadn't... Does this kind of move the bar for you at all? Does this make you any more interested? If you already played these games before, tell me what you like about them. You know, what kind of pulled you in? Why do you think they're... Because people who like these games really like these games from everything that I've seen. People seem to be very excited that I was going to be streaming this last night. We got a pretty good audience. But I am curious, you know, what is it about the story games that you guys really like? I'd be curious if it was like anyone's introduction to Monster Hunter, or like where it came along in someone's respective journey and all that. Because I think this is pretty cool. This is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Maybe not even so much it's more than I thought it was going to be. It's just I didn't know exactly what I expected. and I was pleasantly surprised. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's see if there's anything interesting. Nothing super crazy. I'm seeing what looks like probably a Ludroth egg down there. I don't know if I can get that at this point. Is it just going to give me Kulo over and over again? Yeah. This is fun. Ah! There he goes. You know what? I'll let him live. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, Monster Hunter Stories 2. I like it a lot. Just immediately. I very quickly came to like this game. Was just fond of what this game had to offer. And I'm glad that I picked it up. I'm glad I'm trying it. And I am looking forward to Stories 3 a lot more than I was 24 hours ago. So, and I was already pretty looking forward to that game. I already figured I was going to like it once I bit the bullet, and now that I've bit the bullet, it's, yeah, I like it. I figured I was going to. I'm not shocked, but I'm happy about it. So yeah, tell me down below just what you think about these games, what you're looking forward to with 3. What do you hope that 3 brings to the table? And I hope you're looking forward to all the stuff that's going to be coming out over the course of December. I have to get back to working on those projects probably right now, honestly. I just wanted to take like a quick interlude and make this video just because I figured it would make people who liked these games happy. Because I woke up wanting to play this game more. I'm like, you know what? That feels like something I just kind of want to share. So yeah, I'll get back to you pretty soon. You're going to be seeing a lot of me this month. Hope you stick around and lend whatever support and assistance you can with this channel, especially for December. This has the chance to be a utterly gigantic month for me. So the more you watch, like, subscribe, and share, the more this is going to be a big, big, big success for me in these upcoming days. So thank you in advance. Appreciate you. This has been CR-Volcanic or Connor. I'll see you around. Shout out to all the patrons, and special shout out to Ethan Toombs, Blast Shooter 87, Spoonman, Bry Bastion, Unseen Mercenary, Certified Rajang Hater, Ketz, Psychotic Jester, Stromlin, Shaggy Grizzly, Dovita, Sir Newt Newt, Nihilist Chimerax, Call Sign Shadow, and I Think I Stole Your Sandwich. Thank you very much, everyone.